Well, we'll move on to the presentation. Our first presentation this morning is from Sam Attisha, who is the Senior Vice President and Regional Manager for Cox Communication. Sam, the floor is yours.
Hey, John, thank you, and good morning, everyone. I think Efren had the hardest job here today announcing everybody's name, so great job on that. I always struggle with that, and it's nice to see so many friendly faces and folks. I miss you all. I'm just, when your names were coming up, I was thinking of where I would have seen you over the last year at different events and things like that. So I'm very hopeful we get back to that really soon. And before I get started, I just want to thank you all for the incredible honor you gave me last year of being selected as the Maryland Lastman Golden Dedication Award recipient. It's truly an honor for me. I feel like I still have a lot of life left to give, but to get a Lifetime Achievement Award is an honor. And I want to thank my friend Patricia Alvarez for nominating me. And so, look, we've all been incredibly busy the last year. I'm very active in the county. I know everything the South County EDC has been doing for our businesses, what many of your organizations have been doing for your employees and your customers and your community. And I just want you to know Cox Communications has been right there with you. We have given millions of dollars in cash and in kind during this last year, more than we've ever given to support our customers, our employees, and our communities through this. And so I'm very proud of what we've done. And I will promise you that we will continue to do that to get us out of this and continue to move our region forward. It's been a lot of work. And one area we've been focusing in particular on is connectivity and making sure that all of our kids have a device and are connected to the internet so schools could continue. And that has been a big area for us. We have so many great partners. And then, you know, one area it's near and dear to me, my wife is a sharp healthcare physician. She, you know, has been on this for the last year, like so many others, you know, that our healthcare workers are really, truly special. And so I think, Efren, you have my presentation. Are you going to roll the presentation for me in the video?
That's correct. The video and your presentation. So what's next?
Right, let's start with this video. This was our we've been doing this for a lot of different healthcare workers, is our way of saying thank you. So I'm going to start with just a very short video.
Oh my God, you're so good. De veras, yo te los hice, mija, para que los disfrutes. Nos sentimos muy orgullosas de ti por tu trabajo que haces y por muy sacrificado. Y de antemano sabemos que van a venir tiempos en los que volvamos a estar juntos. Thank you. I love you guys. I love you too, mi reina.
So we did a long form version of this and many other commercials, really highlighting the sacrifices our healthcare workers have made, missing their family and holidays. And what we did is we brought their unique family flavor, whether it was food or something unique to that healthcare worker, to kind of to bring a little bit of home. So Efren, if you put up my presentation, as we move into this, look, real quick about me, I'm an immigrant. My parents came here when I was 3 years old. I grew up in East County. I love San Diego. I'm really committed to this community. I have a strong connection to the South County. My first job after college I was a Senate fellow, and I worked for a South County icon, Wadi Detta. I spent 3 years working in the state capitol and in the Chula Vista office. I got to know South County incredibly well, and it has been an honor and a privilege for me to do that. And you know, my parents were all about community and giving back, and I'm very blessed that I found my home in Cox Communications. Efren, if we go to the next slide. One more after the video. There we go. So for me, working for this company has been a blessing. I'll just give you a high level. Cox is a 123-year-old family business. We were founded by the governor of Ohio, James Cox. We still own the very first business he bought, the Dayton Daily News. It is a family newspaper, along with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, were the two first businesses that we bought. And so the family is really focused on values and giving back to their employees and their customers and their community. So very much aligns with who I am. You can kind of see there our Cox products and services, but what many people don't know are the other businesses that we own. Cox is the largest automotive support manufacturer supporter in the world. So we have Auto Trader, which some of you might have used Auto Trader if you bought a car, Kelley Blue Book, Manheim Auto Auctions. These are all businesses that Cox owns. And then in the last several years, we've really focused on sustainability and conservation and making some significant investments there. And speaking of investments, if we go to the next slide. So we have been on a $15 billion investment spree the last 10 years, and we are transforming our network. Here in San Diego, we launched gigabit internet services to every residential address that we serve, regardless of where they are, about 6 years ago. And since then, we've accelerated our investment. We're going to spend $10 billion in the next 5 years on further providing capacity and scalability into our network. And you know, one of the things that happened here with the pandemic is we saw a significant acceleration of use. We've typically been about 24 months ahead of our customers' demands of network and bandwidth usage. But in the first 6 weeks of the pandemic, we saw 2 years of growth on the network in about 6 weeks across our network. And overall, our network is performing incredibly well. And you know, what warms my heart is when I get on these calls, I see all the people on video. If you watch local TV news, most of the anchors and the reporters and the weather people are all doing it from home. A lot of them are doing that over our network. The quality is unbelievable. So the investment is there for us to continue to work like this. But to kind of show you a graph, if we go to the next slide, this kind of shows you what happened here. If we go out to the left, 0301, you can see where bandwidth was. And upstream is what you send out of the home. Downstream is what you pull into your home. So like a Netflix movie is downstream. That is streaming from the network into your home. This video chat of your video going out of your home is the upstream. You can see the huge growth in bandwidth, especially on the upstream. And it's just been a tremendous growth, and everybody continuing to school and work and, you know, have fun from home in the last year. And so, and you can see that kind of dip around 0102. That was, of course, the holidays, right? People were out of school. People, you know, weren't necessarily working. They were enjoying each other's company. And then right when the holidays finish, you can boom, see that spike kind of has gone right back up. So if we go to the next slide, this is something that I wanted to kind of spend a few minutes on that we have really seen accelerated. And I'm sure many of you that run businesses have seen a tremendous digital acceleration in your business. 5 to 10 years is what we're hearing of acceleration of digitization of our businesses happening really in 1 year. And so kind of, you know, technology is not going away. People are reimagining how technology is going to help them in the home, at work, schools, municipalities, and we see this trend continuing. And so I'd say the first one is in this smart cities. Cities are starting to use what we've all wanted for many, many years, is they're starting to use technology and data to improve the service delivery experience. We're seeing it all over the county and the country in many cities that we partner with about how they're using this to really improve the delivery of services to their residents, which to me is incredibly important. Because the technology is there. Businesses have been using it all day long. You self-serve on an app, you go to a website and chat, you know, our city should be using that also. So we're seeing that. And we're also seeing it move into the home tremendously. We know here in San Diego County, we see, you know, people say, wow, why are you making this investment? You know, housing isn't growing as much as we want. And for us, it isn't the housing growth that's driving our investment. It's the amount of devices in the home. If we just think back 10 years earlier, we maybe had a computer, maybe had an iPhone, right? Think about what's in the home today. We have, you know, Apple TVs and streaming devices and smart TVs. We have barbecues connected to the internet. We have light bulbs connected to the internet. We have smart appliances connected to the internet. There's been a 40% growth year over year in devices connected to the internet out of the house. So we see more of that kind of acceleration. The other piece of this is, you know, school and work. I know we're all excited for schools to go back, and you know, I have 3 kids, and I'd like nothing more than that to happen also. But there's going to be this balance between school and work continue to stay home somewhat. We have 1,800 employees here in California. Most of them, half of them work in the field. Their jobs haven't changed. They're in our retail stores. They're in our technical facilities. They're managing our network, serving our customers. But 900 of them have been home since March 13th of last year, coming up on 1 year here. I don't know how many of them are going to come right back into our buildings over the next several months or years. Some of these jobs, I think, are going to end up being remote jobs because people have proven they can do that. So there's going to be this balance of schooling from home and working from home. And, there's a lot of great data out there on this. And I think we're going to see that acceleration. I think, if you look at Gardner, which is a leading research company, they said there's been a 10-year shift in virtual employees. So acceleration by 10 years of employees now potentially working from home or really working virtually anywhere. And you're seeing that now really in the tech companies, but I think you're going to see in a lot more industries that are more comfortable with employees working from home, because you don't need to come to the office just to go into an office or a cubicle and do your emails. You can do that at home. And when you come to the office, it's going to be more about collaboration and working together, teamwork, training. And so we're seeing a lot of that. We're having businesses that are our customers asking us to help them kind of reimagine how they use bandwidth and deliver services. So we see a lot of that happening. And, the pandemic has really exposed the inequity of our education system. And for us, that was our #1 priority. We've had a program, Connect to Compete, $9.95 a month, K through 12 kids. Anyone who doesn't have internet, who qualifies for a whole number of different programs in the schools, can get this internet product. And we partnered with so many great nonprofits, Computers to Kids, and so many more to deliver over 30,000 computers last year and internet connectivity to kids in our region to allow them to keep schooling. So we see kind of that hybrid approach happening. And so I think that's going to continue. The third trend, telehealth. I don't know how many of you have done a virtual healthcare checkup during the pandemic. I've done 3 of them. One of them was a dermatology appointment. I was really impressed with how the tools work. All 3 were on different platforms. And so telehealth is here to stay. About 1 in 4 people used it before the pandemic. Now 3 out of 4 have said they're going to be very comfortable using it. In the healthcare side, there's a lot of great data that says basically most healthcare providers were not offering any telehealth visits. And now many of them, between 60 and 80%, will include that as part of their business as usual going forward. So I think telehealth is here to stay. And if you can think about that, as we age in place, as we want to continue to use technology to improve the quality of our lives in the home, telehealth is going to be a big part of that. And the last one is the move to the cloud. And I'm not talking about the clouds that are outside here, which we don't have a lot of in San Diego. I'm talking about pushing services to the edge of the network. So, big corporations like Cox years ago started moving a lot of our infrastructure in the cloud because it's easier to manage, it scales better, you can operate it more efficiently. We're getting away from boxes in facilities. And unfortunately, small, medium businesses don't have that scale. And so now there's been a great push for cloud-based services at the small and medium business level. We bought a company 3 years ago called Rapid Scale that has just been growing exponentially. And what it does is it takes cloud-based services that big businesses like Cox would be able to access and has now moved it down to small, medium-sized companies. So kind of what does that mean? It's really this concept of everything as a service, your hardware as a service, your desktop as a service, your security as a service, software as a service. You're no longer managing devices and ITs and routers and switches. Everything now is in the cloud. And the reason why is because bandwidth connectivity has enabled that. And we have seen in the last year an exponential acceleration of this. Small, medium, large businesses are all doing this. I think that trend is going to even continue more and more as we get into the future. And so it's a really big area of growth, and it's an area that really allows a small, medium business to act like a Cox when it comes to their infrastructure and growth. If we go to the next slide, and this is really my last slide, and one of the areas that we're incredibly proud of is our focus on inclusion, diversity, equity, and our focus on the community. And I just pulled some pictures. You know, we've been doing this a long time. We've been in San Diego for more than 60 years. And, you know, one of the favorite parts of my job is the partnerships we have in the community. Cox is very committed to making sure our employees reflect the diversity of the communities we operate in. Our programming does that, and our community giving does that. So you have my commitment and the commitment of the family that owns our company, that this is going to continue, and we're going to continue to be active participants in the community. Our employees sit on boards, they live everywhere, they engage in all the services. Our whole focus is to make sure we can create vibrant and healthy communities. And so we're going to continue to do that. And then the last slide is really just to say thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of come here today, give you a quick update. We're going to continue to invest in our network and our employees and our customers and our communities. And we're proud of the partnerships that we have. And I am happy to answer any questions that you have.
Well, thank you very much, Sam. The award was well deserved, and we're very fortunate to have you in our community. And we do have time for a couple questions. If we have any from the floor, please speak up.
Yeah, this is Councilmember Bush, and I just want to say to Cox, congratulations. And just one of the things I do want to give a shout out to Carla Leal, who had a meeting with her and her supervisor, I can't remember off the top of my head, but just really want to commend Cox, and because what I've seen is you guys walk the talk when it comes to diversity, and especially hiring in particular women of color, and being really engaged, involved in the community. So really appreciate you all. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilman Bush. I'll tell you a quick story. When I got here, I started looking at how our employee base was structured. And an area I'm incredibly passionate about is getting more women in non-traditional roles. So for us, that would be technical roles, right? That's not necessarily an area that women have focused on. So we have been really hyper vigilant and focused on getting more women involved in non-traditional roles. And it just so happened to be around the time that Game of Thrones was hot, right? And if you watch Game of Thrones, for any of you Game of Thrones fans, it was all about winter. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. So we borrowed winter, and we're creatives here. So we did a whole creative program around winter, WINTR, women in non-traditional roles. And so we pushed it out there hard, social media, because I wanted to have a focus group with our frontline technicians that were women. And Ingo Henschel, who's our VP of Field Operations, said, Sam, you can't have a focus group. And I said, why, Ingo? You could just have coffee. And I said, why is that? Because we only have one technician that's a woman. And so fast forward now, 5-6 years, I'm having a focus group at the end of March, but I can't have one focus group because I have to have 3, because that's how many women we now have in what I would consider a non-traditional technical role. The technician that would come into your home or business, we only had 1. Now we have close to 14, 15 women that are in that role. And I'm excited because they're going to start there. They're going to move up in the organization, and eventually we're going to have some really strong leaders. So thank you, Councilman, for that question. And it's a commitment that I have, and I know it's a commitment the family has. So.
Absolutely. Well, last thing I forgot to mention too, the customer service, I really appreciate too. Whenever I need to call someone, I don't have to wait on hold a while. And that's something that I've seen a lot with companies as they automize, and I get streamlining, but there's nothing like having someone to answer and then who's patient and walks you through things and even goes above and beyond. And so I just want to commend you for that as well, and just encourage other companies in business to do that as well. It's really important to have that not face to face, but that over the phone, having someone and who can walk you through things. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sam, this is Carl.
Hey, Carl, how are you, sir?
Good, nice to see you. Say congratulations on appointing chair of the Telecommunications Association. And
it's another unpaid job, but I appreciate it.
and your good work in trying to bring connectivity to the folks that otherwise might not have it. You've done a really good job with that. But I have a question. What do you think the answer is going to be for rural areas like Imperial County, where you've got low density and really challenges to bring broadband out to the folks out there? And I know Cox doesn't deliver service there, but it's a challenge in rural areas throughout the state and the country.
Yeah, and so it's a great question. So, there's a lot going on right now at the federal government and the state government to bridge the digital divide everywhere. And, obviously urban areas are really well connected, and you nailed it. It's areas that might not make financial sense without some kind of incentive. And there has been a lot of focus on that. And there was a couple of rounds of auctions for wireless frequencies. Cox participated in them, and as well as some subsidies for services. So I think, Carl, you're going to start seeing a lot of movement to really connect what I would say would be more rural areas of our county. If you think about, we go to Alpine and then we go to Pine Valley, we don't serve some of the areas beyond that, right? And so the people want to live there, but they want access to broadband. So you're going to see wireless, you're going to see satellite, and you're going to see a few other folks kind of extending service out there. And it's probably going to happen starting this year, and you're going to see it accelerate in 22 and 23.
Great, thanks. Appreciate that insight.
Okay, thank you again, Sam. We really appreciate the presentation.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Appreciate all of you, and I hope to see you in person, maybe at your, like as Jim said, maybe you're going to have your event in person this year and we could actually get together. So thank you all so much.